for your heart, healing for your home. The Redeemed Marriage Podcast.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Redeemed Marriage Podcast. This is Rusty and Heather Bryant. I don't know that you know this, but today, according to Apple Podcasts, this is our 250th episode.
Wow. I do not know that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's accurate. The reason why I'm not real sure is because in our actual podcast, like the host that does our podcasting, I think they have us as maybe one or two more.
Yeah.
But I think one time we had like an error and had to go back and there was something went wrong. And so I don't really know.
We're on
and
at
I'm
least
sure,
250.
I'm sure Apple Podcast is right. I
Yeah.
mean, Apple doesn't get anything wrong, right?
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, so 250.
Wow. That's impressive. That's a lot of podcast.
Yeah.
And it's funny because people have often asked me, like, how do you not run out of things to talk about?
Oh.
And I'm like, I know, because like right now today, we were like, which of these three do we tackle today? Because they are all three really good questions. So.
Well, as long as there are jacked up marriages out there, there's plenty to talk about.
That's right.
I think we're all pretty jacked up, and so
That's right.
yeah, pretty easy to just continue talking about marriage topics.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
We'll all be jacked up until the day we
that's right.
get to heaven.
Well, and we also go back and revisit topics because we learn a lot as we go, and then of course just being able to answer topics from listeners, which is what we're doing today because we're still in the middle of
Summer shorts, summer shorts,
summer shorts, summer shorts.
You know, I just wonder. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I don't know if I've ever said that on here before, but my happy place is sitting on my sofa, crisscross applesauce, with my headphones on, listening to an audiobook and working a puzzle. So there you have it. I mean, now, I shouldn't say that's my happy place. My happy place is Montana or the beach, but if I'm at home and I have some quiet time, I love to listen to a book and work a puzzle. It's glorious.
My happy place is just with you, wherever you are. That's my happy place.
Summer shorts.
Actually, when you said, no, that's actually not my happy place. My happy place is, I thought you were going to say that. You
In
didn't.
Montana or on the beach with you.
You remember our friend Kevin James? He used to go, he's not really our friend. If any of you just went, wait, Kevin James is your friend?
No, he's really not. I mean, we think he's our friend.
Oh, yeah.
Because, he's hilarious and we watch him all the time.
We do watch him all the time. But just like so many people out there, they go, oh, yeah, my friends, Rusty and Heather, because they listen. But you are.
But you are our friends.
friends.
That's right, that's
and
right.
you can call us that.
We are, however, not Kevin James friends.
No, but you can tell people. We don't mind. Tell people that you're really good friends of ours.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Okay, summer shorts. Let's hear the question for today.
So this question we got today says this: how can you truly open up to your spouse when trying to have a heart talk when they either add their own heart talk onto it or they get defensive?
Okay, so
We've talked about a heart talk before, but we
we
definitely need to revisit it.
Well, do you think we should? Do you think we need to give the whole steps, or just kind of give?
Oh, just what it is. I mean, because basically a heart talk, we don't have to give the steps. We'll probably get into
if
it.
you want the steps, come to our.
Yeah, but you probably also will kind of get into it as we discuss this.
We have definitely talked about heart talk.
But just go to our website and in the podcast, just type in heart talk and it'll give you all of them where we mention it. But it is a very effective tool. And if you're listening to this and you've done coaching with us, or you've been to a marriage retreat, or you've been to a marriage intensive, and heart talks have changed your communication as much as they have ours, let us know. If you haven't implemented it because you think it's silly, you should try it, because it is absolutely the best communication tool. But basically what it is one person gets to share what they are feeling with the other spouse without any fear of defensiveness or them trying to fix it, or, all of these different things that you're scared of when you go into a heart talk or when you go into any kind of communication. It eliminates all of that. So the question is, how do you do it effectively if they do this? Well, if you're doing it effectively, they don't do that.
Well, that's the thing. There's rules.
There's rules around
There's rules to heart talk. And that's the part that I think some people feel like are kind of silly. And they're like, why do we have to follow these steps? And why do we have to follow these rules? And the reason is because if you don't follow the steps and follow the rules, one of you is going to come back and ask us a question that's going to sound a lot like the one that just got asked.
How do you do it right?
How do you do it if they keep calling their own heart talk, or what was the other part?
Or they get defensive.
Or they get defensive. Yeah, because those are two things in the rules of a heart talk that are not allowed. And so probably in the situation of this particular question, they probably have sort of moved away from the rules because we have moved away from the rules. But the reason we've moved away from the rules is because we have practiced so much on communication. And just like Heather said, the whole purpose of a heart talk is really so that the listener can be heard and the listener can be validated. And so it's not for the listener to respond. It's just for them to understand and to the speaker. Sorry. The speaker. It's for the speaker.
Right.
You didn't correct me.
No, because I was thinking about the next thing. Sorry.
Okay. It's for
which is what we don't want you to do in a heart talk.
There you go, breaking all the rules. The speaker needs to be heard and validated. And so the listener, you're creating a safe place so that they can't respond and so that they just listen.
Yeah.
And so what happens over time, though, is you get really comfortable doing it and you feel like, well, we don't have to follow the rules exactly. And you don't. You don't. But sometimes there's a situation where, and I'll just kind of speak into what maybe this listener is feeling, that they start talking and maybe they've moved away from the rules a little bit, and the listener comes back with defensiveness, or they come back with, well, I need to share my feelings
now
too.
It's my turn for heart talk.
And so I think that's when it's very appropriate for the speaker to say, no, okay, I want you to understand this is a heart talk.
Yeah.
Because we've done that. We've had to do that before, where we've just been in conversation mode, and then it's like, wait a second, I really need you to follow the rules.
Like, okay, you know what? Let's start over, and this is going to be a heart talk because it's not accomplishing what it's supposed to accomplish. And like when we read this, it was really funny because we pulled up the 3 or 4 latest questions that have come in, and we said this one and we got kind of tickled because this morning in church, our pastor Chip Henderson at Pine Lake Church did we're in a relationship series, and he did an entire message on communication. And one of the things, we kept elbowing each other because we were like, we teach that.
I think he was stealing our material.
He probably listens
I
to
think
it.
he listened to our podcast and just started just preaching it straight off of our podcast.
But one of the things he said that I was just like, oh my gosh, how many times have we said that, is that most people listen to respond instead of listening to understand. And when you when you want to be heard, when you call a heart talk and are like, I just need you to hear me, you just want to be understood. And he said 3 or 4 times today, it doesn't mean that you have to agree with them, because a lot of times you may not. It doesn't even mean that you have to understand why they feel that way. You know, I think a lot of times, I think this happens a lot between men and women, is men just can't understand, why do you feel that way? Like to their wife, I don't understand how that makes you feel that way, or why me saying that made you feel that way. But it's not your job to understand why they feel that way. It is your job to understand that that's how they feel. Whether you understand it or not, or even agree with it or not, that is how they feel. And the important part is to understand that they feel that way. So when we say listen to understand instead of listening to respond, I don't even mean listen to understand why they feel that way, or listen to understand them and go, oh, now I understand that that's why you feel that way. It's not that. It is just understanding that's how they feel. And there is just something super, super validating about someone saying, I understand that that's how you feel. Like, it's just like, okay, well, then now I can move on because you've listened and you understood. And so I think that what this listener is asking is, how do you do that? How do you share how you feel if they then say, okay, well, now it's time for my heart talk. And basically that, like you said, that's against the rules. And you can't just say, okay, well, I listened to you. Now it's your time to listen to me. That's against the rules. You have to take time to really think about and marinate on what they're talking about, and that's how they feel, so that you can respond correctly. And then defensiveness. So there's 3 responses usually from a heart talk. If you're listening, if you're the listener, you don't get to do any of these. But these are the 3 most common responses when your spouse is telling you how they feel about something, or sharing something with you. 1, you want to get defensive. That is not what I said, or that is not what I meant, or you just took that the wrong way, or, that's defensiveness, like trying to say, I didn't hurt you. You just took it the wrong way, is basically what that is. And then the other response can be fixing it. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. Let me do this, this, and this. Or, or I think you should tell them, just trying to fix it. And a lot of times that men really like to fix things. Well, they probably both do. It's like, I love you and let me fix this for you. But that's not what you should be doing in that moment, is trying to fix it.
And I think I maybe I'm stereotyping a little bit, but for a man to share feelings and for the wife to try to tell the husband what they should do to fix it, I think that's more damaging
and demeaning.
Yeah, than the opposite. Because I do think sometimes when you share feelings, you lean on me to, what should I do? How? Not all the time, but I think when a man gets up enough courage and nerve to actually share some feeling, whenever you come back and say, well, you should do this, it triggers something of, well, I can't handle this myself. I'm not good enough. You're having to tell me, or even just by you saying it, it feels like, well, you're not doing it the right way. Do it my way, and you'll be able to. And I don't think it's that way always with the female.
Yeah, or you could feel like that I don't believe you can handle it on your own, so I need to step in and help you.
Let me step in and help.
Like, you're not man enough to do it, so let me help you. Yeah. And so those are some dangers when you try to speak into fixing it. Now, I do think there's a time that after the heart talk is over and you have some time to think, that you can say, hey, I had some ideas or some thoughts, or
just ask.
But just say, is it something you want to brainstorm about, or did you just need to dump it? And we have a saying like, do you need me just to hold the bucket, or do you need me to help fix it? And there's lots of times it's just like, hey, you hold the bucket. Let me just pour what is bothering me, what is hurting me, what is scaring me, whatever, my feelings. And I just need you to hold the bucket and don't try to fix it. So we did 2 of them, defensiveness and trying to fix it. And then the third very popular response is just apologizing, just saying, oh, sorry.
And that's just trying to get out. Just let's end this conversation.
Yeah, like, please, Lord, quit speaking to me. Just stop talking. And I was really, really bad at that. And I actually made you bad at that, because I would pound on you and pound on you and pound on you. And when you would come to me with something that bothered you, I was the master of spinning it and making it your fault. and then you would end up
Yeah,
apologizing
because
anyway.
that's when I was like, well, I'm trying to share my feelings with you, but now all of a sudden it's my fault. And I don't want to hear
What you have to say.
Yeah, I don't want to hear you blaming me for what I'm bringing my feelings.
Right.
And so then I just wind up just going, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And just
yeah.
let's be done
and
with this.
really, it
And
wasn't
then-
that one sounded very heartfelt, and it wasn't even that. It was just like, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, just please be quiet.
And then when that happens, you don't want to bring no more feelings. I mean, that's kind of the end of,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people have trouble in this area because they've already gotten to that point. It's like, we do not communicate well. Anytime I bring something to her, she nags me. Or anytime I bring something to him, he tries to say, well, let me tell you something, and I don't know exactly what your go-to thing is. But I think we got to the point where we were so hardened to talk to each other that we just didn't, because you never brought anything to me, not because you weren't willing to be open, but because I shut you down all the time and made it your fault. And like, if you ever came to me with something, okay, just for example, and this is fresh on my mind because it was in one of our other questions, and maybe we can get to it in one of our summer shorts, but somebody asked a question about what to do if your spouse had a relationship at work or a friendship or whatever that made you uncomfortable. Okay. It's a great question. Maybe we can come back to that one. But let's just use that as an example, just because I remember times like that, where maybe there was a relationship, a friendship, and it could have even been a couple friendship, or a friendship that maybe I was closer to the female than you were the male, but then there was part of that relationship that made you uncomfortable. Well, if you came to me with that back in the day and said, hey, I'm a little uncomfortable with how he responds to you, or how you laugh at him, or whatever it is. And if I were to say, well, that's your insecurity because I'm not doing anything wrong, then I all of a sudden made it your fault. So it's not anything. But here's the thing, even if I wasn't doing anything, I have to acknowledge that it bothers you. And that's what a heart talk does. A heart talk allows you to say, this makes me uncomfortable, this bothers me, and then I can't defend, I can't turn it back on you, and I can't go, well, sorry you feel that way. I mean, those are all terrible responses. And so it gives me the opportunity to really walk away from it, because, of course, we weren't going to go through all the rules, but part of it is repeating what you heard. What I hear you saying is, and Chip talked about this morning, I was like, yeah, he did, saying, this is what I heard you say. Because oftentimes we don't hear what the person said. We hear what we think they're saying. Or they may say it wrong. Either one of those things. And it's like, no, that's not exactly what I meant. So let's try this again. And so the communication is so much better when you follow these rules. So I would then say to you, what I hear you saying is that person bothers you, or whatever the heart talk is about. And I repeat it. And then you say, yeah, that's what I said. And then I say, I understand that that's how you feel. And then I go away from that talk, the end, no defense, no solving it, trying to fix it, no apology. And I think about what it is that you brought to me and really try to understand that that's how you feel. Not understand, like in that example I just gave, it wouldn't be trying to understand what I did to make you feel that way. It's just, I understand that that's how he feels, that there's some uncomfortableness. And of course, with our story, I'm going to be super uber aware and conscious of that. But it's hard for somebody who you think, gosh, I'm being 100% trustworthy. And what could I do different? Those are hard things to think about. But then you go, okay, this is how he feels. Let me see what my role in that can be. And then you revisit it. But we've kind of gotten off the question a little bit. But to answer that question truthfully is, if you're having trouble with him or her, whoever this was, coming back with a heart talk, or them being defensive, it's because you're not doing the rules correctly, and you have to do it right.
And I think just like what I was saying, you get comfortable with communication. You think you don't need to follow the rules. Maybe you think it's silly, whatever. But some of that also goes back to expectations, which is another thing that Chip talked about.
Y'all should listen
Everybody
to that
go
sermon.
to Pine Lake Church, and today is Sunday, May 31st of 2026. Go
Pine
find
Lake, one word.
Go find
Pinelake.
Go find Chip Henderson's sermon from today on communication. And for those of y'all that listen to us and have been through our marriage coaching, you're going to find a lot of the same tools or very similar tools. Because he was just sharing a bunch of stuff that we teach on a regular basis, and I've never heard him share that stuff. So it's not like we took his stuff,
Right.
like that's other people's things that we've all brought together.
That's right.
But he did talk about expectations and the importance of communicating expectations, which again, if you've been around us any length of time, you know that's a big thing that we talk about. But even in this communication, like, don't expect your spouse to be able to read your mind that this is a heart talk. That's why one of the rules is you call the heart talk.
That's
you
right.
literally say, is now a good time for a heart talk? When that happens, it's kicking it into gear where the other spouse knows the expectation here is that I'm just listening.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you just come to them and you just have some feeling that you just start sharing and you don't necessarily say this is a heart talk, well, how do they know that you don't want them to fix it or you don't want them to share their own feelings back at you? I mean, that's what communication is. And so sometimes the expectation is just saying, I need to have a heart talk. That's what this is. So don't beat around the bush. Say it clearly. That was another part of the sermon, being very clear and concise. And so, those are the things that I think will answer that question is go back to the basics of setting the ground rules, following the rules, and then you can accomplish what a heart talk is supposed to accomplish.
And guys, if you have tried a heart talk and it didn't work, keep trying.
Yeah.
Like, keep trying. It is such a great tool. But like we said a while ago, some of you, because we've been there, your walls are so hardened and they're so high that you can't imagine this being an effective tool. But you just keep trying, and you just keep trying, and you just keep trying. And eventually it gets better and better and better. And it can absolutely change the way that you communicate with your spouse for literally forever.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for 15 years. We have been using a heart talk for 15 years. And like you said, we don't go through all the little steps anymore unless we're like, whoa, this is not working. Just communicating. So let's stop and do it right.
Right.
And we still have done that.
Yep.
And so it's something that we still 15 years later, it's effective. It brings so much calmness and peace. There's no way to lose your temper and yell if you follow the rules. And it is just a powerful tool. So don't give up on it.
Yep. All right. Thanks for listening today, gang. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.